Hello, welcome back. Let's do question 4.2 and 4.3. Right, we're given that f of x is equal to a to the power x minus 1, where a is greater than 0, and we're given the point b there. Right, in 4.1, we are asked to find the value of a. We found that a is equal to 2 over 3. You may check the link in the description. I have the link for the playlist there. You can see how we did 4.1. 4.2 says write down the range of f. Right, so it means the equation for f of x is f of x is equal to 2 over 3 to the power x minus 1. Right, I want you to take note of the following. If we have a function like this, f of x is equal to a times b to the power x minus p plus q. A and b will give you the shape of the graph. If a, which is the coefficient here, is greater than 0, meaning that if a is positive, the graph is above the asymptote. Please take note of that. Let's say this is the asymptote. The graph will be above the asymptote. It can be like this, decreasing, or it can be increasing like this. But it is what? It is above the asymptote. And then if a is less than 0, then the graph is below the asymptote. It can be decreasing like this, or it may be increasing like this. But what we know is that if a is less than 0, the graph is below the asymptote. Now, to tell if the graph will be increasing or decreasing, we may use the value of b, the base, but there's no need for that. I'll show you when we do 4.3 how we're going to sketch this graph. We are saying that if a is greater than 0, the graph is above the asymptote, and then if a is less than 0, the graph is below the asymptote. And then for this function here, a is greater than 0. A is positive, meaning that the graph is going to be above the asymptote. And then from the equation, we can clearly see that the equation of the asymptote is y is equal to negative 1. So it means that we have y is equal to negative 1 here. And then this graph is above y is equal to negative 1. So it means the y values are from negative 1 going up. But it cannot be negative 1 because at y is equal to negative 1, we have the asymptote there. Remember, the graph will never touch the asymptote. So it means that y should be greater than negative 1. That's the range there. From negative 1, but negative 1 not included. Or you can present it like this and say y is an element of negative 1 not included, so we use round bracket to infinity. We use round bracket like that. That's another way you can do it. Right, let me draw the Cartesian plane here. Sketch the graph of f. Clearly show the intercepts with the axis and the asymptotes. Now from the equation, we can see that the equation of the asymptote is y is equal to negative 1. Let's draw the asymptote. Like we said that a is greater than 0 here. Is positive, so it means graph is going to be above the asymptote. So it's going to be above the asymptote. Is it like this or it's like this? Right, and then if you check, b is between 0 and 1, 2 over 3. So it means the shape of the graph is decreasing like this. So it means it's going to be like this. We don't need to remember this. I'll show you what to do. Right, you can use the table method. Remember the table method. So these 3 points, when x is negative 1, or when x is equal to 0, and then when x is equal to 1. So where there's x, put negative 1, say y is equal to 2 over 3 to the power negative 1 minus 1. What do you get? We get 1 over 2, right? And then y is equal to 2 over 3 to the power 0 minus 1. And then what do you get? We get 0. And then we get y is equal to 2 over 3 to the power 1 minus 1 is equal to, what do you get? Negative 1 over 3. And then these 3 points are enough to give you the shape. We have 0, 0, that is the origin. So it means the x-intercept is 0, the y-intercept is at 0, right? And then when it's negative 1, it's half, so somewhere there. And then when x is 1, y is negative 1 over 3 like this. And then these 3 points, they give you the shape of the graph. Then you just join them like this. The other thing we could have done is to find the x-intercept, right? X-intercept. To find the x-intercept, where there's y, you put 0. So it's going to be 0 is equal to 2 over 3 to the power x minus 1. Then add 1 on both sides of the equation. 1 is equal to 2 over 3 to the power x. Now 1 is any base raised to the power of 0. So it's going to be 2 over 3 to the power 0 is equal to 2 over 3 to the power of x, meaning that x is equal to 0. So if y is 0, x is 0. So that's the origin. And then what you do, just find any other point after that. Just find any other point. And then we can use maybe negative 2. We say, what is y if x is negative 2, 2 over 3 to the power negative 2 minus 1, we get 1,25. You see that when x is negative 2, 1,25. You have this point, the origin, and then this point where x is negative 2 and y is 1,25. And then you just join them like this. You've managed to sketch the graph. Okay? But just start with the asymptote. The asymptote is an easy mark. That is a free mark there. And then after that, you can use the table method or use the method where you find the x-intercept. Because once you know that the graph is going to be above the asymptote here, you can clearly see that the graph is going to cut the x-axis. So find the x-intercept, and then after finding the x-intercept, find any other point.